Welcome to We the People TV, where the streets talk and we listen. I need y'all to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let's get this live to at least 500 likes. We got the Epstein.
Wow, Donald Trump, America, government. Your government kidnapped me. You promised the Epstein list. Victims are being found dead. Hello. I mean, the whole reason you gained presidency, Trump, was because of promising the Epstein list. Are you as much of a liar as them? You know, and thank goodness for Elon Musk for actually standing up for what's right. You know, it's funny how only South Africans stand up, because where are the other 200 Epstein victims? Although maybe they're too frightened to speak out because of the American government. Well, I speak for all of them. I speak for all victims. How dare your government abuse, rape, and murder? We'll be coming for you. Don't you worry, government. You can sit there and pretend that Epstein didn't exist and that none of this happened. But guess what? We're not that fucking stupid. Don't make us any more angry, otherwise we will come and we will find you.
Y'all better listen. Now let's tap into we're gonna come back over here, but let's tap into what they saying is really going on.
Truly unusual breaking news. You know the breaking news animation. You know sometimes the news is big, significant, serious. This one is unusual. A major escalation in what is increasingly a kind of political, quiet, peaceful civil war, but a civil war of political proportions for MAGA over these Epstein files. And it's roiling the Trump administration at quite literally the highest levels. Sources detailing the ongoing clash over a fight that could cost someone their job. Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi clashing with the FBI number 2 official Dan Bongino. As everybody who follows these kind of stories knows, technically the AG oversees the FBI, but if you remember Comey or other strong-willed FBI officials, when you're at that number 1, number 2 level, they sometimes fight with the DOJ. Sources say Bongino is so upset about all this, he's saying maybe he'll just leave, which would be a very quick tenure, by the way. And he would be leaving in a sort of protest or criticism of Bondi's handling of the Epstein files. Other outside agitators, including Tucker Carlson, saying she's lost confidence. Maybe she has to go. He was not at work today, reportedly. Sources also say Bondi and Bongino got into a heated clash Wednesday in a high-level meeting with him, her, FBI Director Patel, and Donald Trump's number 1 person who tracks all this stuff and makes the big staffing decisions, Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, who, of course, also ran the Victoria's campaign. Axios has a report on this where Pam says her piece, Dan says his piece, didn't end on friendly terms. Bongino left angry. And you don't need to be a scholar of reporting or Watergate level intrigue to know somebody in this small meeting is leaking this stuff to Axios if it's true. A source close to Bongino saying he ain't coming back.
But why did he leave? What really made him upset to the point where he said he's gonna take some time off? People gotta think about that. A lot of this stuff ain't just happening. So they just sold us a lie, a fairy tale, and told us that it was files, and had people really thinking that it was files that was going to be leaked some way down the line.
Out of control furious is the other quote. This destroyed his career. He's threatening to quit and torch Pam unless she's fired, said someone who, again, according to that reporting, spoke with Bongino. By the way, hire podcasters and right-wing media figures to run major parts of the government, and you may find major parts of the government are being leaked on and run like another piece of podcast content. I'll come back to how some of this does swirl around MAGA content. Other parts of it, of course, are serious when you think about the victims in the original Epstein case. All of this, though, occurred because the DOJ has fallen short of the pledges that people around Trump, including Bondi, made. There were many questions about the Epstein case. From the moment of his in-custody death, this news program, for example, has reported on those questions. There are some suspicious details. This news program has not done what a lot of the internet and MAGA right-wing sort of circles.
But if it's a lot of suspicious details, that's telling you something ain't right. You mean tell me this man unalived himself in his own cell? It has to be a reason why he did that. If none of this stuff is true, it wasn't no reason for that man to unalive himself.
Have done, which is assert without evidence what maybe happened and then wait for the government to confirm it. Now we're seeing significant backlash from MAGA, probably some of the loudest against Trump since he took office. Journalists Other people following DOJ and Musk may be reporting one set of problems to the administration, but on the right, this is the big problem. All of this is because it was partly stoked by the very people who now say nothing to see here. They stoked this conspiracy which imploded on them.
Thanks to Restore, Primetime is back.
This is my time.
I didn't want to be bald any longer.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now.
In Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
What names are in there, man? You understand how many powerful people probably want this thing to desperately go away?
The FBI airmailed into that operation and said, this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Release the list.
Now, who's trying to stop this list from coming out? Because this has been a big thing for all these years, and all of a sudden now they saying it's no list. So what was the point of telling the people it was a list if y'all gonna just come out and denounce the list now? And Trump was the one that was big on pushing to get this list put out. Was that just for him to get into that seat? Did he do that just to get the people on his side? Because at the end of the day, that's wrong for that to happen, for you to lie to the people like that. It's people out here that really went through trauma because of this man. It's people that's out here that's feared for their life because of this man.
That's the now vice president. The list's on my desk, the attorney general. The government gangsters, quote unquote, are in charge of all this stuff. The problem is they caught the car. All those people talking up that way now have the goods. They're in the government. They used to be pointing their finger. They found it pointing at themselves, like many an old internet meme, and it's blown up on them. So this matters politically because one or more people may be out of a job. It matters in a deeper sense because we're seeing the limits of governing by clickbait or political conspiracy theory. It also could matter if any of it got back to the real questions about the Epstein case, not whether Pam Bondi was lying when she said she had an Epstein list or is lying now when the memo says it doesn't exist, but it can't be both. Now, in the FBI, there's a wider dysfunction involving some of these same people who we know from what they're saying have been spending many, many days, a lot of their energy on a client list they now say doesn't exist. But the Times is reporting that the FBI is taking the unusual step of using lie detectors for loyalty tests, subjecting personnel to questions as specific.
Wait a minute. The FBI is using polygraphs to test officials' loyalty, subjecting personnel to a question as specific as whether they have caste, aspirations on Mr. Patel himself. Man, these people is crazy. So they giving these people poly tests.
As to whether they've criticized or, quote, cast aspersions on Patel, who you just saw in that other clip talking about gangsters. This looks like something from a movie or another era, but according to the Times, it's happening. And in Trump's DOJ under Bondi, there's also a purge because there are officials who say they might be targeted not for how they're doing their job, but whether they're insufficiently, quote, politically loyal to Bondi and Trump.
So what does that mean? They got to be loyal to the point where they don't give out the information that's really supposed to be given to the people? Is that what they're trying to say? Let's play that back, y'all.
There are officials who say they might be targeted not for how they're doing their job, but whether they're insufficiently, quote, politically loyal to Bondi and Trump. Fired without explanation, a culture of fear is how the Post describes it. And so one more point on all this tonight.
So what information does Bondi and Trump have that they don't want to be released to the public? Because it's a reason why these people that's a part of the Trump administration, like the guy that just took time off from work, there's a reason why he did what he did. Seems like he's pissed off about something.
What started as a very real question about a suspicious in-custody death, any journalist or lawyer could tell you the government's holding a high-profile detainee and they die under suspicious circumstances, you want to investigate that. What started with something real morphed into a MAGA conspiracy theory that was sold so hard by these leaders that it's blown up in their face. And more than almost anything Trump has done thus far in the second term, and you follow the news, you're familiar with it, This is the thing saddling Trump. This is the thing that has them leaking on each other, fighting with each other, talking about not coming back to work, all because the story they sold themselves blew up on themselves. I want to bring in our experts, Michelle Goldberg from the New York Times and MSNBC analyst, and Alencia Johnson, who worked on the Harris 24 campaign and wrote Flip the Tables, Everyday Disruptor's Guide to Finding Courage and Making Change. Plenty in there for the times we're in now. Welcome to both of you. Michelle, multiple things can be true. We're all for investigating and holding the government accountable. If there were problems in the original handling of Epstein, it stretches from the Trump folks who were in charge of the Bureau of Prisons at the time. If there was further cover-up or lack of transparency, that would include, of course, the ensuing Democratic administration, and now back to the Trump folks again. So there may be good questions to ask, and yet so many of the questions that have blown up in their face seem to be of their own making. In Bondi's case, saying things that she would know to be untrue.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Yes, certainly. I mean,
what is Base 44? We got to remember that. We got to look that up.
I'd say I don't really have very many priors about this. I'm inclined to believe that if there was evidence that Epstein was murdered, or if there was evidence of a so-called client list, given that we've had first Trump in charge, then Biden, now Trump again, there would be somebody who had the incentive to leak it or to put that out there. You know, that said, there are, as you said earlier, there are a lot of weird things about this case, including now the changed metadata on the tape that they put out. But I think the key is two things. One, that Pam Bondi has made these statements that can't be reconciled. Either she was lying outright and kind of getting the MAGA people's hopes up when she said, I have this list on my desk, you know, or she's lying now when she says no such lists exist and there's nothing there. And I think that part of it is that there's a difference between someone like Pam Bondi, who could have been a Republican official in a lot of different administrations, and someone like Dan Bongino, who is purely a creature of the MAGA world, would never be in the FBI under any other president, and then sort of has no political or entertainment future if he is seen by the MAGA base as a traitor. You know, Pam Bondi is more of a sort of Bill Barr figure, and so they might all despise her. But if they feel really betrayed by Dan Bongino, who I think probably was a true believer that he was going to come in there and they were going to have this cathartic exposure of all their enemies, you know, if he's now seen as being part of a cover-up, I think that's much more of a threat to him personally.
But we got to find out which part is a lie. Did they lie about the files existing, or they lying now and saying that the files don't exist? Let me know what y'all think in the comment section.
Yeah, I appreciate that breakdown. That makes a lot of sense. Alencia, I want to play the MAGA meltdown over this. For folks who aren't constantly watching the War Room or Tucker, you maybe only have heard some of it. But again, I don't think it's an overstatement that they're more upset about this than most anything that's happened in these first 170 days. Take a look.
Don't tell us all this stuff's coming out and the investigation's massive and that Trump wants it released and then say, oh, there's nothing there.
This stinks. This just reeks.
Pam Bondi needs to be fired. Who is rolling this out? The little rascals?
So I'm going to go throw up, actually.
That is so crazy. This is honestly one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
This seems like unforgivable behavior.
For them to do something like this tears my guts out.
Alencia.
It's giving Real Housewives of DC and a really nasty reunion. But, you know, it's interesting. Your lead into that was the point that I've been thinking about. There have been so many egregious things that have happened in this administration from, you know, we see unemployment having gone up under this administration. We see this horrible bill that happened last week. We see what is happening with these ICE raids, all of these things that have happened in this first 170 days. And this is the thing that the base is literally crying over on television and on video. And so it will be interesting to see how, moving forward, the administration actually starts to bring in some of these MAGA loyalists who, quite frankly, are these conspiracy theorists that they would.
All right, now, y'all, let's get into this Pam Bondi. She ain't getting away that easy. Let's get into this real quick. Give me 1 second.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein.
Y'all heard what she said. Y'all heard what this lady said, and this was back in February. We're gonna play that back.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
The DOJ may be releasing the list.
Do these people think we stupid or something? Do they think we slow? I feel like they think the American people is slow because this lady, I don't know, man. I don't know. Now let's see. Give me 1 second, y'all. We'll get right back into it.
So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the attorney.
Hey, come on now. Like, what's going on? What's really going on? Like, I really think that they think that the American people are slow. I'm sorry.
Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak.
Play that back. Play that back. Trump. Hey, Trump. Man, I don't know. I think Trump just played the biggest cover. He just played the biggest trick in the world.
The Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk.
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But
the lies you tell, just lies, all lies.
Again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis.
How the hell is she gonna say that in Chicago been on fire for the last? Hey, I'm sorry, it's not funny, but why do they think they can lie to the American people? I'm sorry. Did y'all just hear what this lady said? She brung up
rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this attorney.
So are we talking about the illegals that they just locked up, or are we talking about? Wait. You got to clarify that.
General and the FBI director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. They promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice. Okay.
So what? This is a bunch of baloney. Now I'm gonna play this lady right here. I played it already, but I'm gonna play it one more time before we get up out of here because I'm tired of listening to this buffoonery. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. I'm really tired of listening to this buffoonery.
Wow, Donald Trump, America, government. Your government kidnapped me. You promised the Epstein list. Victims are being found dead. Hello. I mean, the whole reason you gained presidency, Trump, was because of promising the Epstein list. Are you as much of a liar as them? You know, and thank goodness for Elon Musk for actually standing up for what's right. You know, it's funny how only South Africans stand up, because where are the other 200 Epstein victims? Although maybe they're too frightened to speak out because of the American government. Well, I speak for all of them. I speak for all victims. How dare your government abuse, rape, and murder? We'll be coming for you. Don't you worry, government. You can sit there and pretend that Epstein didn't exist and that none of this happened. But guess what? We're not that fucking stupid. Don't make us
They think we are. They think the American people is slow.
any more angry, otherwise we will come and we will find you. How dare you?
This is crazy.
Still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy?
But you promised the people that the files was going to be released, or was that just for you to get in that seat? Come on, Donald. The newborn hatch baby bird here having
creep. That is unbelievable.
I'm pissed off.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm pissed
This
off.
guy's been talked about.
I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to keep playing that, but he just pissed me off with that one.
People went to that island, but fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to,
Now you hear him saying it probably will be, though. I don't know if this was when he was when he became president, or was this after? I don't know. Was this first term? I don't know, but he did say what he just said. We're gonna play it back, though.
you'll be.
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger too, because, you know, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it. But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll.
Yeah, that's crazy. I just don't get it.
Have seen. Remember, I was accused falsely, and the
Yes.
Epstein, and ultimately I was completely cleared. The woman admitted that she may have mistook me for somebody else and withdrew all of her lawsuits. And so from day one, from the day I was accused, I said I want every document out because I knew every document would prove I was innocent. So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them, and that's wrong.
Just out of curiosity, without names, are these politicians, business leaders, both?
They're everything. And let me tell you, a lot of them are, at least one of them is somebody who was accused. Others are accusers. And the judges have said, if somebody calls themselves a victim, we're not going to give any information about them. But they may not be victims. They may be perpetrators.
Wow.
So we don't have information about false accusers. And we know there have been many false accusers who have accused innocent people for money. And those records are being deliberately, willfully suppressed. And they shouldn't be suppressed. If the accusation is allowed out, so should the material that diminishes the credibility of the accuser. We want total transparency on this. Every single document, no redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights to privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people, but I was falsely accused and I was able to prove it. And I was able to prove it through documents. And I want other people to be able to disprove false accusations through documents. But these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
And that's the crazy part about it, because there's a lot of false accusations going out, and they just putting people names in paperwork that names don't even belong in the paperwork, and the paperwork ain't even accurate. Some chat GPT type stuff. Let's see.
If you're on that list and you were raping children, you need to be in prison at minimum, if not executed. This is the mindset of MAGA. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. And so all of this, it all goes back to, if we don't have equal protection, if I don't trust that I'm getting the same level of constitutional rights and justice that some billionaire is getting, then I don't trust my government. And so it's bigger than just the Epstein list. It's about trusting our government. And if we don't have that, you lose all of those people, at least enough of them to make it to where you hand the country back to the Republican elite class and the Democrat elite class that drove us into this hell that we lived in under Biden.
Final thought. And this is for fair use, YouTube, commentary purposes only, educational purposes only. This is for fair use. We don't believe in nothing that Epstein was accused of or alleged to have done. This is for fair use, educational purposes only, and we do not condone in the R word. We do not.
Thoughts, Jack, and then Julio, really quick.
At the end of the day, look, this is Donald Trump's movement, all right? This is his movement, and there's been a lot of signal. There's the back, there's the forth, and at the end of the day, this is a movement about justice for the things that the Biden administration, the Obama administration, that they did, okay? This is about things that they did. And for President Trump, he understands above all that all of these messes that, by the way, folks.
We're not even going to finish that. Let's see what else we got going on here.
Case, I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build this international human trafficking, sex trafficking ring. Now, earlier I urged then Chairman Durbin to subpoena those records, and I ended up being blocked by Senator Durbin and Christopher Wray. They stonewalled on this, and I know that breaking up these trafficking rings is important to President Trump. So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight.
I want to talk to you about the Epstein.
See, this is deeper than what people think. Like, they trying to cover this up so they can keep what they got going on. They don't want none of this to stop. If they unleash the list and the names on the list, do you know what will come out and who will be brought down? From lawyers, doctors, attorneys, judges, police officers, firemen, all these people are involved. To keep this thing going, you gotta have every niche stitched. You gotta have every niche stitched. And that's how it is right now. That's why they not trying to unleash the list. The files is there. They just not trying to release them. It's crazy work.
Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume. And that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going.
Again.
Now listen to this man.
Logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Tens.
Listen to what she's saying.
Of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child.
I don't think we got to get into no more of that video. This just debunks everything that they saying. Everything that they saying right now and everything that they trying to feed the people is lies.
And their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office. Identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Lower, go lower, go lower, go lower, go lower. Go up a little bit. Right there. Hang on, right there. You will not even believe what I just found. Look at the case you worked on. Look for all the way in the bottom of miscellaneous, second line, 2021, 2022. Kaplan was presiding judge on mattering relating towards Virginia Giuffre and Prince Andrew. Click on that on section. Watch what happens. What happens to the case. Click on that's the one. Click right there, zoom in, and just go to the top. Yeah, Jennifer and Andrew reached, and the case was dismissed by the party stipulation in March 2022 without going to trial.
Prince Andrew.
So let me get this straight. This case, read the top. Federal Court, Virginia. You know who Virginia Giuffre? I mean, we just talked about her, right?
Trafficked girl
That's
from
right.
Epstein Island.
From Epstein Island, second son of for
picture.
sexual assault under court, several sexual encounters with Andrew in the early 2000s at the age of 17 after being sex trafficked by American financier and convicted by sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Dismissed without going to trial, yet trumps $83.3 million.
Wow. What a freaking find.
Great find.
That is insane. All you gotta do is.
Now it says Jeffrey Epstein victim, Virginia Giuffre, who said I would travel to Prince Andrew. She committed. Wow, that's crazy. She took her life. She took her own life. Her case was dismissed by the same judge, Lewis Kaplan, who ruled that Donald Trump was guilty of R-word E. Jean Carroll. This judge formally dismissed all sexual abuse and R-word charges through a sealed settlement with no prison time. And now she's dead by wink suicide after recovering from a car accident. Wow. So why is Trump playing the cards he playing now that he's in office that he don't want to release these files? That's the big question. That is the big question.
Spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and
They finna flag the hell out of this video, man. This is crazy. But this is just for educational purposes. This is what's going on. You gotta inform the people. So I don't know why they gonna do that, but this is the truth though. These women gotta speak their piece.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that.
This bill was a big victory for MAGA, and Republicans were turned up.
Also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not. That was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
And you made that clear to him.
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, you know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.
You felt that the moment you walked in. I didn't
He was
realize
awful.
that. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it.
Hey, she cut her off real quick with that one. Hey, shout out to this lady right here.
With him?
Any of the questions remaining about
spend time with him? And he still continued to spend time with him? Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
Gail, Gail.
Files on your desk is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability. But in this case,
yeah, don't look like it. It really don't look like it. So Piers Morgan, get ready to make another segment because they lied to the people. They lied to the people. But yeah, we're gonna cut that one short right there. We almost did an hour. But yeah, y'all like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. It's crazy that those women went through what they went through. Condolences to the ones that's still around, and hopefully they get the help that they need. I don't know why that they trying to lie to the American people like we slow or something, but we see what y'all doing. Trump. Donald. I don't know. Yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section. We the People TV. Go.